This is the Uptick Newswire Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews, public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world, with your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, I'm bringing back an old friend, and he was on my show back in September 2017. We're talking about Enertopia Corp. You can find them on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol ENRT. You can also find them on the CSE up there in Canada under the ticker symbol TOP. And with us today is the CEO and president of the company, Robert McAllister. Robert, welcome back to the show. I greatly appreciate your time and coming on the show.
Hi, Everett. Thank you very much for inviting me to be back on the show. I look forward to updating investors to what's happening with Enertopia.
Well, it's been 5 or 6 quarters since you've been on the show, so give my new listeners a little bit about statement, who you guys are, how you make your money, and what kind of acquisitions you guys are after.
Well, those are great questions. Since 2016, we've been in the lithium space. We picked up our project that we've been working on in Clayton Valley in the fall of 2017, and we've been aggressively moving that forward. We've been doing synthetic brine testing. So what we do is we take the lithium rock at surface, run it through different pH levels to see how we can recover the lithium. We're trying to do it in a low-cost, economical way, and we just finished our first drill program, 4 definition drill holes for a resource and 1 metallurgical test hole, so we can analyze those layers anywhere from, just below surface down to 300 feet below surface that were enriched in lithium.
What is the significance of your recent release essays from the projects? And I want to talk about your Nevada project and your Argentina project later on, but what's the significant recent findings you released recently?
Well, it validated our hypothesis that the lithium mineralization that was intersected in the Cypress development project to our west continued on our property and also onto the property to the east on NORAM's property. And we not only validated that it exists, but that the grade and thickness are some of the highest values recorded to date.
There's a lot of talk about lithium in the market, how that's going to be the new paradigm shift for energy, if you will. What are your views on lithium market and how it's beginning to impact the growth of electric vehicles?
Yes, the driver for lithium growth is the accelerating growth in electric vehicles. It was only a couple of years ago where there was only 100,000 to 200,000 electric vehicles being made in the world. Today, last year, we crossed the 2 million threshold per year, and those numbers are only projected to increase, at 15 to 25% per year. So it's a rapidly expanding marketplace, and the centerpiece of that growth is a lithium-ion battery.
Let's stay on the lithium, for example. Last time you was on the show, we talked about your Argentina project. We talked about Nevada project. Where's all this lithium going to come from?
The lithium comes from several spots. We went down and we did an exploration program in Argentina in 2017. And so you're reminding me it has been a couple of years since we've been on your show. The numbers that came back from our project in Argentina weren't what we were expecting, so we decided to exit Argentina at that time, and our sole focus on lithium is in Nevada. And, we've been focused hard on that area for 2 years now, and we will continue to focus now and in the future in Nevada. We believe that we're in the middle of a major resource discovery between Cypress, ourselves, and NORAM that people will come to realize being significant as we move forward in the extraction technology to recover the lithium from the claystones.
The extraction process, how long does that take, and when do you think those revenues will fall on the balance sheet?
Okay, well, that's a multiple part question there. So the extraction process currently is done by pumping up the brine at depth and letting the sun evaporate it so it concentrates not only the lithium, but the sodium, the potassium, the calcium, the magnesium, and then it's run through conventional extraction process in a recovery plant. What we're working on is to keep those CapEx numbers down is using off-the-shelf technology through different resins, membranes, and other processes that we're working on that we're working to see how we can capture the lithium ions in the most economical way possible. As far as revenue, that's still, looks to be a couple years down the road. It's not an overnight process. It's everything that people need to realize about lithium deposits is they're chemistry sensitive, and they take a lot of work to develop, to come up with the right way to extract the lithium.
But beyond a shadow of a doubt, you have discovered lithium in Nevada. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. No, we've we've got the drill holes and the assays and everything else. No, it's there.
My guest today is Enertopia Corp. We're highlighting them on Stock Day. You've been listening to the CEO of the company, Robert McAllister. You can find their stock on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol ENRT. Also up there on the CSE in Canada under the ticker symbol TOP. What is next for Enertopia, and how does it fit into the company long-term plans? Where do we go from here?
We go right into our solution testing of that metallurgical hole that we drilled, and actually some other material from the other holes, where we take different pHs, and there's some things I'm not going to say because my technical people told me to button it up, so they think we're onto something. So we'll have more news out shortly in the marketplace, and I can expand on a little bit, but not a lot, unfortunately. But yeah, no, that's our focus for over the coming months. We've done a lot of work over the last 2 years in testing, and that's brought us to a baseline of how to proceed with the core that we've just drilled, and how we'll go through testing of that core in the next 90 days.
It's been 5 or 6 quarters since you've been on my show. In closing here, what would you want my listeners to take away from this interview?
I would say it always takes longer than expected to come out the other end where you're smiling, and I think we're a lot closer to that point than we were 2 years ago.
I want to thank you for coming on the show. Only thing that I ask from you, Robert, is that you don't wait 5 or 6 quarters to come back on. My listeners want to know more about Enertopia Corp and what you guys are doing in there in Nevada. I wish you nothing but continued success. Hopefully you'll come back on the next 2 months.
I will tell you right now, you and your listeners, that I'll be more than happy to come on here in the next 90 days.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire, LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are those of the guests and those of the respective companies they represent, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Uptick Newswire. Uptick Newswire encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of this program may have paid for its distribution and are not directly affiliated with Uptick Newswire or this station.